So in the world of time and space, this moment has been coming for a very long time, where we are in our human evolutionary process. And now it's really at the point where we're being called to participate in the changing of the frequency. And we have no choice, actually. Well, it's either walk differently, wake up, change, or suffer. While it's true that we're all just perfect as we are and there's nothing to change and nothing to do, it's also true that everything about who you've been taking yourself to be doesn't match the frequency that's being called for. So change is, life will call change from you in one way or another. If you don't participate willingly, life will call it. It will just keep chopping because it won't work in the old way of being. Maybe some of you have been facing difficulty over this last year in different variations that call for change. And it's all part of this remaking, this reshaping of you. And it looks like we are at the end of what we call a year, these cycles in time. 2021 has been, it's been a kind of a, it's like close to climax, right? It's been building for a long time to come to this, and now it's like full on and leaving everybody in like, what the fuck, right? The only place to go is in not knowing. There's nothing to hold on to. There's no certainty, which was always the case. But now it's really like, yeah. So we're at the end of this 2020 this week. And in these days, it came to me through the night as our energy was working through me and I didn't sleep well. It came like really to also include this, the fact that we're being presented with the end of a year and the beginning of a new year and all this thing. It's really a chance, you know. It's not like, let's make New Year's resolutions. I don't mean like that, you know. I mean like, what is old and worn out within you? What can you notice in your system that belongs to an old version of you that kind of is weighted and is like, it has nothing to do with living awake? What is like, it's time for it to just drop off, and it may need a bit of participation from you. It may need you watching it enough to cut it every time you see it coming into play. What old learned ways that kick in automatic ways that the ego survives? You know, not to smash this ego. This poor ego has been doing everything to find happiness for you. But I'm talking about the dark side of that. You know, the one that just it's got nothing to do with the values that you're coming into. You know, what are your values? What are your true values in this lifetime? And this is your, you know, only you can know that. You're the one who has to clarify that. It's not me telling you, oh, your values should be honoring presence over everything, love over whatever. You know, I can't tell you what your values are. It's you. And you have to be honest with yourself. You can't just go, you know, like try to be a spiritual person and come up with the right answers for yourself. I mean, truly, what does your life reveal to you about your values? Where do you place your actions and your choices and the little things that we're here to process in the world of time and space? What are your actions and movements and motives based on? What are they a movement of? Are they connected with your true values? So it's really like clarifying your true values. Regardless of what's going out in the bigger picture, what are your true values, you know? Like really clarifying that and finding what still hangs around in your way to relate to the world, to respond to, as a result of unconscious ways, right? What are the ways that hang that belong to something that's not doing you any favors? And if it's not doing you any favors, it's not doing everyone you come into contact with and the world any favors. And I'm not saying now you need to be a good boy or girl, you know, this is not my thing. This is what life is placing demand on. Life is calling everyone out, you know, in the bigger picture and in all of our, it's like you're being called out. There's no way to ignore it. And the extremes are on the table. So it will be either that you are clear and you're walking your talk. You have to be careful what your talk is before you walk it, you know. Right? Or you suffer. You get squeezed. And where do you find peace? What brings peace? What brings lightness and freedom and space? And, you know, do you value these things? Do you value the ability to free yourself in any moment and to emit that fragrance? Do you value that? What do you value? And what needs to drop off? And what can you clarify this week, seeing we're running together till the 31st of December? What can come clear for you in this time that really has seen its day and is really like not doing you any favors? How would you like to move on into this new phase? We're not, as a species on this human plane, we're not going back to what we've known as normal. So there's a lot of adaptation. We all have needed to adapt this year, and that adaptation will continue. How do you want to move on into this fragile reality of humanness? Who are you and what are you here for? Are you interested in knowing? You can say greater or higher, or whatever word you want to use. Are you interested in knowing more of yourself? What are you that came here on this earth, in this body, having this life? What are you in the first place? Are you here to just keep on dying and being born into new bodies, doing the same old thing? What are you? Why did you come here? What is this lifetime an offering of? And of course, like living awake, it doesn't serve the ego. The ego doesn't get anything for being willing to drop itself constantly, to being willing to disidentify and to open as the essential being that one is. Essential, the essence of what one is, the essential, the being that will at some point see this body fall off and go on opening in its own essence, watching the process of death, right? The essential being. There's no like arrival point. You know, it's not like you get this like awakening and then all of a sudden your body mind is completely transformed and walking as an awakened being. This integration is something that happens over time, right? Because you will have to walk through everything that's been in the life before you knew your true self. You're still going to have to walk with all those programmings and patternings that are coming conscious, and within the seeing of those behaviors, you can step in differently. And as you step in differently, you're making the body new, right? And life circumstance has a way of bringing all kind of situations and things into your world to give you another opportunity to step into, you know, in my experience, it's like you're facing old things again with another opportunity to step in differently. It will happen that old ways of behaving and things get touched and pop up, and you come to see something that can only be, you know, I can speak it and many can speak it, but it's when you actually see it in your walking that it really drops in. Is what it means to not get identified with identification. And when that happens, when this really happens, that you are not identified with identification, when this happens, that you're experiencing identification without identifying, then that takes the glue out. When the glue is out, you'll stop defending somebody who doesn't exist. So although you experience identification, the habit of defending, that the one who has the habit to defend itself as an automatic response, when the glue is taken out of that, that fizzles quite fast. Because what's the point of putting energy into defending someone who's not even here? So yeah, it's the job of mastering yourself within all of that.